How we doing, guys? I'm Kevin Shaw, editor-in-chief of the Watercraft Journal. As you can tell, my voice is still a little trashed. I'll explain what happened. I promise I am not smoking, but I'm still very hoarse. I'm a lot better than when I recorded that uncut episode that a lot of people ended up watching, which I was really surprised about. I just realized I started a minute early. All right, whatever. Who cares? Anyway, so if you're new, I'm the editor-in-chief of the Watercraft Journal. We publish new articles every single day, Monday through Friday, entirely subscription-free to you. Articles reviewing product, event coverage, race coverage, industry news, stuff like that. We also publish new videos every day, Sunday through Friday. And those begin with the live broadcast, which if you are watching this live, we do it every Sunday night. And then we take those podcasts and we break them up and we sparse them out during the week. Additionally, we also publish anywhere from 2 to 3 full-length episodes of either typically product reviews or a special tour or a special ride. And we also do the occasional uncut episode. The uncut episode is effectively, we take a clip from one of our filming sessions, and from beginning to end, we'll put up the whole clip uncut, and A little bit of voiceover and explain why that clip is particularly unique or not. So if you have a question that you want to be answered, the best way to have it answered is through a super chat donation. You hit the super chat. It's a little $ at the bottom. You can write your question in there. I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll answer your question. Otherwise, I might get to your question at the end of the episode, but definitely begin it with capital letters, the word question, and then write your question. Again, well, let's talk about my voice. So everyone's wondering what the hell my voice is doing going on. So what was this week? I went down to Jacksonville, Florida, and I was able to ride the new 2023 Sea-Doo RXPX Apex 300 and the Explorer Pro 170. And it was a great event. Had a lot of fun. Got to hang out with some amazing people. Saw some really cool stuff that I just never had seen before, which is always fun. Lots of great seafood, which I got 3 little kids. They never want to go out for seafood, so here we are. Plus, Middle Tennessee isn't really known for seafood. But in the last few minutes of our ride, coming up to the launch ramp where we were, I was on an Explorer Pro, and I was chasing the Sea-Doo representative, Tim McKercher. He was on a Fish Pro trophy. And we brought it up to about 45 miles an hour. A center console boat went the other direction. And the Explorer, based on the SG3 platform, which is one of our lowest ranked platforms when it comes to our judging, that ski hit that wake at 45 miles an hour, hard dipped, pounded the ski, broke my lanyard loose, and then immediately yanked to the right, which ST3s do. Yanked hard to the right, even though I was totally pinned to the left, and it ejected a selfie stick with my GoPro on it, and about 4 hours, if not 4 to 5 hours of content, because I didn't have a portable hard drive with me to offload all the content onto at the hotel room. And I lost a GoPro with so much footage from the week's event. So I had reached out to grab it, and I felt it. I nicked it with my hand, and it shot off. And typically I have a float on everything. Typically, I have floats on everything, and official GoPro floats. And because I was using the selfie stick, a collapsible selfie stick, And I thought I was being smart. I tied it up with a lanyard. I was like, okay, we're good. This isn't going anywhere. If I wanted to use it, I unhoop the lanyard and I loop it through the little vent that's in the windshield. And I'd pull the selfie stick out, two-hand, extend it, do my little footage, bring it back in, right hand or left hand, loop it through the little vent, tie it off. I was gravy. Well, because of the erraticness of the hull, the boat that zipped past us, it was all kind of bent out of shape because he doesn't like jet skiers. I lost a lot of footage, and I basically screamed myself hoarse, just infuriated, just absolutely infuriated. And that night I came home and immediately ordered a replacement. So here's the new GoPro with the mic and the selfie stick. And just in case you were wondering, it is the selfie stick I got is a Sandmark, and I already hate it because it doesn't float. And it's advertised as floating. And you get the box, and the box is over there. I was going to put the box on camera. And they advertise it on Amazon as being a floating selfie stick. I bought it as such. And as soon as it arrived, I filled up a 5-gallon bucket, threw it in there, and it sank right to the bottom. So I will not be using the Sandmark selfie stick. In fact, I probably will just end up giving it away if anyone wants it. I mean, I could return it, get my money back. That'd probably be the thing my wife would want me to do. But I definitely need to get a floating selfie stick. And unfortunately, a lot of these selfie sticks do not allow for the really large GoPro float or GoPro life jacket. I need to find one that allows for that because this same guy does not float, nor does it allow the life jacket on there. I've seen the people say wrap a pool noodle on it. I cannot do that given the usage and how I need to store it and use it and where I place them. So it's a good suggestion, and I simply can't use it for my application. And a couple people had been like, man, you always lose GoPros. And that is because I do not ride like a bitch. I ride hard. And I record when I ride hard. And those are the breaks. I have learned by using when I hard mount it, like use a suction cup or a 3M double-sided mount. I use zip ties and I double zip tie it. But because I was using a selfie stick to get footage that was necessary, I could not zip tie it to anything unless they have a 6-foot zip tie. So that was kind of where I was. There's been a million suggestions. Most of them are stupid. And I've talked to surfers and a few other people who I trust. And I will see about going forward in the future. So we'll go forward with that. All right. So GoPro. Oh, yeah. So anyway, I screened my brains out. And I blew my voice out. Broski. Good Lord. Yeah. That won't look weird. I don't need red. Let's use black. Red's not showing up on these stupid Post-it notes. My wife got me pink Post-it notes. I'm literally writing on a pink Post-it note. Okay, upcoming news. This week we'll be publishing. I'll be personally writing the Bill Chapin Memorial. Bill Chapin, the founder of R&D Performance, partner with Glenn Dickinson. Talked about it last week after he passed. We spent the week collecting a lot of testimonials from really great people. Mahler, Victor Sheldon, Greg Beaver, Christy Carlson, Mike Fulmer, some really, really good people who worked with Bill. So we're gonna have that article. We got some other silly stuff that's coming up. We got some other industry news that's coming up. We were going to publish the video and article for the Riva dealer app. Unfortunately, Riva is not ready to pull the trigger on it just yet, and we're making a couple corrections to our video. So it's probably going to get pushed back another week. That's just, I got to play by their rules. So the video won't be out until Dave's ready to pull the trigger, and he's currently not ready to do that just yet. So that's an upcoming video. That video is done, except for like we have to change one caption. And when that's done, I'll let you guys know. Obviously, it'll be on the channel, so you'll see it. It's a pretty neat device. If you have a map tuner already, or you've been thinking about buying a map tuner, this might push you over the edge if you haven't already bought one, because this really opens up the map tuner to doing everything. So if you're into tuning, if you're into performance, if you're into actually just maintaining one or more skis, and you want to cut out the dealership, the dealer app pretty much does it for you. All right. Upcoming videos, stuff I got to finish up. GTX script, North Carolina. I've been gone. I've been busy doing other stuff. Simply haven't been able to do that. Just haven't been able to write the script. I obviously have scripts that need to be written for the Apex review and the Explorer Pro review. Those will be on my to-do list for the next couple weeks. And then what I do need to film is the Ultra 310LX versus the GTX Limited 300. I have both skis on a trailer. They are ready to be filmed, and hopefully this week will play well enough with weather that I can do it. All right. One last thing before we get into the topic, as we are 12 minutes in. I haven't even opened up this box of Strippino straps, so I'm going to do it live. I'm going to give these away today. I want to give these away. So if we got a really good question, super chat question, or just a good question that I feel is worthy, I'll be sending these out. Let's see what you get. And I'm opening them live on camera. All right. These are a really nice set of ratcheting straps. Everyone can always use a new set of ratchet straps. I don't really want to open up the bag, but I do want to show you one of the neat things that I'm opening up the bag, just so you know. You'll know that I opened it live on camera, so don't get upset. All right, one of the neat things about the Strippino straps, even their base model ones, is that they have these nice, the hooks that they got, they're all rubber coated, and they have these nice spring keepers on them. And these guys, I mean, this is a nice traditional ratchet strap. It doesn't auto retract or anything kind of crazy. But this will be the prize for today. I will send these out if we have a good question. Or a super chat. All right. You guys might have seen these being bounced around. I know June did one. I know I don't know who the name of that other girl is. I think she's out of Texas. All she rides are Sea-Doos. I think she's a Sea-Doo ambassador now, or like Ava or Avon. No, that's the makeup company. I don't know what her name is. They've been doing videos on these Strippino straps, and they did one on these guys. Let me explain to you what's going on with Strippino so you guys know what the fact is. All right, there's a marketing agency who represents these guys. The marketing agency represents Strippino, and they want to break into the watercraft boating market. All right, so they're going to YouTube and they're finding all the people who have a lot of clicks and hits. All right, and they reach out and they say, "Hey, if we give you a bunch of Strippino straps, will you talk about them?" I'm like, "Sure." Okay, So they gave me a whole box of these things. I put them on my trailer, and then I've given out probably what, 4 pairs of them, right? And then they hit me up and they're like, "Hey, we got this new one. Will you do a video on it?" And I go, "Well, what do you mean video? I've already done a video on the nicer ones." And they're like, "Well, we got these new ones. Will you do a video on it?" Okay, well, these are my rates. Okay, and they wrote a check. And that's what's going on, is that they're paying Avon and they're paying June and they're paying whoever else in the jet ski industry to talk about these things. So yes, I'm being paid. This episode is brought to you by Strippino. This is not the video they're paying for, though. So just so you see, all right, hard tether. Like I said, got a nice J hook with the sprung keeper on it. Traditional ratchet, but the kicker is you don't have to worry about tying off your strap because it has a nice spring-loaded retractor on it. Believe it or not, I use these. This is silly. I use these to help a lady in my church move into the church. She moved into the area and needed help unpacking some stuff, and then giving some stuff away to charity. So yeah, I use them to help move furniture, and they work very nice. I mean, they're really great straps. They've kind of replaced all my old ratchet straps. So I'll be doing a video, like a short 5-10 minute video talking about these things. It's going to look kind of silly on my jet ski trailer because it already has Strippino straps on it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I like getting paid, and that's what's happening. So I do think they're quality. Don't get me wrong. I go to like Tractor Supply or Harbor Freight and get ratchet straps. I hardly ever buy. The only like really nice ratchet straps that I have are for my car trailer because they need to hold down a car. But the nice thing is that they're all stainless. The parts that are black are powder coated. It's not paint. All right. You can scratch on them. You know, scratch on it right now. Yeah. Yeah, that's not paint. That's powder coating. All right. These are all powder coated. There, I'm beating the hell out of this. All right. That's powder coating, guys. So, and that's stainless. All right. All this stuff has nice rubber texturized ends on them. All right. These are not your cheap regular straps. So, yeah, these are pretty stout. I got to give it to them. I mean, they build a quality unit. So when I get a chance to review stuff that's higher quality, like Shurcan gas cans, I'm like, yeah, dude, they're not cheap, but you get what you pay for. You buy something really nice. These are a nice strap. So these guys are doing a good job. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're paying for exposure. That's fine. I don't think most of us, I don't even think I would even know they existed if it wasn't for them reaching out. So expect a video on this, and let's see if we get a good question about anything. I don't care. And I'll give away a set of Strippinos. Woo! Okay, my voice is trash, but we're gonna muscle through it anyway. Okay, so I want to say about 3 years ago, I was in a conversation with former media rep for Yamaha Motor USA, a guy named Andrew Cullen. I've known Andrew since I was like 27, 28. And no, I was 30, 29 or 30 when I met him. So yeah, I was 29 or 30. Anyway, so anyways, I don't need this up. Okay, let's close that out. Okay, those are all the videos that I need to edit. I was talking with Andrew at Yamaha, and we were kind of discussing how future product is made. And, what are the influence, what are the forces that cause something to be birthed? And he laughed and he says, 90% is dealer feedback. 90% is dealer feedback. And he joked at one point, he says, we respect the guys at Cycle Springs Power Sports in Clearwater. He said, we respect those guys so much. If they told us to build a rocket to the moon, we'd ask them, how soon do you need it? He's like, absolutely. There's about 24 dealers that we really, really, really pay attention to. And okay. So I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, we always listen to what these guys say. And so the feedback was, where's your fishing, to Yamaha came from like, where's your fishing ski? Or where's your answer to the tricks? Or where's your spark? Or where's your braking system? And so that the input from the dealers to Yamaha put Yamaha in a position where they were always playing catch up. They were never actually ahead of the 8-ball. And that the few times that you saw them really ahead of the 8-ball, I frankly believe was the FZ series, and then segueing into the GPs. And the GP hit the market, and the dealers were like, whoa, we need this. So you'll find more times than not that the dealer, or the feedback from the customer to the dealer, and then the dealer to the OE rep, and then from the OE rep to the OE, that's the chain of events, is that it starts with the buyer. It starts with the customer. And that feedback is invaluable to the dealer, because that dealer relays it to the OE. And we can kind of see that reverse chain of events if you start looking at innovation, you start looking at changes made to personal watercraft. Just watch the industry. All right. Oh, we like retro colors. Oh, we don't like retro colors anymore. Oh, we like, I don't know. Moving on. So it was interesting in discussing that, because I kind of saw a little bit of the corporate culture. And I've said this before, and I'm going to repeat it, was that one of the more interesting things that was told to me and to Jerry Gaddis and Greg Gaddis from Greenhulk, it was back in the 2021 rollout, was that Yamaha was focusing more on phone integration and infotainment. Those were their words, was phone integration and infotainment than high performance and speed. In fact, they felt that was secondary. Their marketing research had come back saying more people want crap that integrates with their phone more than they wanted stripped down performance. And I kind of was like, really? Where are you getting that? And they're like, well, dude, we send out surveys all the time, and we talk to our dealers all the time. And our dealers and our surveys are coming back saying, I want more comfort. I want more bells and whistles. I don't want to be wet. I want to be dry. I want it to be stable. I want it to be cushy. I don't want cold wind blowing past my face or whatever. And so Yamaha is like, okay, well, your wish is my command. And they're generating product that the vast majority of people, they believe, want. And what's interesting is, in preparation for tonight, and writing notes and going through stuff, I realized I'm like, I have a role to play in this. I am to blame. I have blood on my hands. And my wife was like, I think you're blowing it a little bit out of proportion. I go, no, because who's doing reviews? All right. I've been doing this since 2007. I've been doing jet ski stuff with a 3-year break. Less than 3 year, 2.5 year break. All right. I've been doing this since 2007, writing reviews, reviewing jet skis, being in the industry, beating the hell out of skis, and telling people what to buy and what works and what doesn't work and all that kind of crap. All right. Long before I had a beard, long before gray showed up in it, long before gray started showing up in my hair, right? 40 pounds. Well, I shouldn't say 40 pounds. I should say about 32 pounds ago when I was racing. All right. I've been doing this for a long time. And I feel that I'm like, you know what? I've been recommending stuff and I've been supporting stuff, not realizing that I'm a useful idiot and that I am pushing the audience to appreciate certain features and products and items that are a slippery slope, that are gateways. And let me explain. Sea-Doo introduces its BRP premium sound system on the ST3 platform for the 2018 model line. All it took was opening up your phone, go to Bluetooth. Look at all. I got 2 Kawasaki's, I got 2 Sea-Doos, and a Yamaha on my list. I'm synced with, and I've deleted a lot of these. So I just hit, BRP Connect, and I hit my music, and I push the little button on the speaker, played. And I could reach down, push pause. I could adjust the volume. I could go, track up, track down. And that was it. All right. I kind of wish I didn't have to reach down. I kind of wish I could do it on handlebars, but it was all right there. It was easy. All right. Never had a problem syncing my phone to the speakers. And I've synced this phone to probably half a dozen Sea-Doos in the last, probably more than that, probably 8 Sea-Doos in the last 3 years. And I'm like, sound system's great. And I told everybody that if you're going to buy a Sea-Doo, buy it with the BRP premium audio. I'm like, it's great. It's awesome. Sounds great. Yeah, over 60 miles an hour, it drowns out. Well, Yamaha, every sound system Yamaha put out, over 60 miles an hour, it drowns out. The new 4S on the Cowie, around 65, and then it drowns out. But then, of course, you got the sound of the supercharger, and you're like, you know what? I'd rather just listen to the engine. But in reviewing sound systems, the Cowie held on a little bit stronger. Okay, great. Well, all that stuff, okay, great. Sound systems, fun. Listen to your music. Awesome. I'll put on Pennywise. I'll put on Rancid. Great. Listen to something fun. But all right. I know I've got to. There was another super chat up here. Okay. It sucks because these really do derail the whole conversation. And I know it's a policy that I will answer them. So I will answer them. Let me finish this one thought. So for 4 years, I've been promoting, hey, listen, if you're going to get a sound system, if you're going to get a Sea-Doo, get one with a sound system. And, the 310LX had jet sounds, It worked okay, but the interface was a little wonky. But once you got the head unit, once you got it plugged in, worked fine. And you could use that little head unit. And I liked that it was on the steering column. You weren't reaching down. It was all right there. And it worked rather well. Yamaha had Bluetooth and it's okay, Henry. I'm not upset. I'm just trying to do this out without burning bridges. But what ultimately became of it was they segued the BRP premium audio into the new tech package, which has the higher integrated dashboard, which they had teased us 4 years ago. And they have the BRP app, BRP Go app. And that is when the trouble began. Because I have had nothing but agonizing frustration with every single ski that has required me to plug in, sync my phone, open up an app, make sure that the app has access to my Apple Music, because my Apple Music isn't on my phone, it's in the cloud, and I got to make sure it can talk to that. And then can I interface with the dashboard? And then can I control it through the dash, or am I controlling it through the speaker pod at the bottom? And oh wait, do I have the right cable? Is the cable communicating through the phone? And because it's an Apple, and Apple's ran by a bunch of douchebags who operate slave labor out of China, that somehow I have to, if I don't have the right cord, it won't communicate and won't tell me, and blah, 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 blah. And it becomes a freaking nightmare. And if I'm ever going through a no wake zone and I want to open up my phone and see who texts me, and I check the text, then I bounce out of the BRP app, and suddenly my music turns off, and now I can't get my music to sync back in. And now I'm like, why am I effing bothering with this? All right. And suddenly I realize I've lost the plot. And I've talked about this in previous videos. In fact, I was wearing this stinking shirt. At what point do you realize I've gone too far off the reservation? I've gone too far and I've lost everything. I've lost the point of being on the water. At what point do you realize, okay, we've gone too far? And that's the thing, is people, humans, I don't care what nationality, I don't care what shade of color you are. All right. I'm red and I'm wearing a red shirt with red hair and I'm red faced. All right. I am clearly monochromatic. All right. But honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I feel guilty that I've participated and I played a role in taking us this far. I feel like I'm guilty of it, and I'm publicly repenting for it, because I feel like I should have in the last, especially with Watercraft Journal, PWI. Well, you know what? PWI did the same thing. So I would say my whole career in personal watercraft is I should have been kicking against. I should have been kicking against the softening of personal watercraft. I should have been fighting and being a vocal opponent to the softening of watercraft. That's how I feel. I feel like I've screwed up. I really feel like I've screwed up. And let me tell you why. Old runabouts. We're talking the 90s. Little one-seater, two-seaters. All right. STXs, STs, HXs, all the little guys, all the little two-stroke runabouts. You fell over trying to get up on them. They rolled over. You swamped them. All right. They bobbed and wobbled, and they were sketchy. By the late 90s, early 2000s, they started to get a little bit longer, started to have deeper footwells, started to have better placement. Handlebars were a little bit higher, stuff like that. Then the four strokes came in, and they go, crap, we got to make these skis bigger because the 4-stroke's a heavier ski. We got to have more foam. We got to have more flotation. We got to compensate for the bigger engines because a 2-stroke doesn't weigh a damn thing, guys. 2-stroke engines, you can deadlift a 2-stroke engine out of a ski by yourself bent over on a workbench. It's not hard. All right. It's very, very easy. All right. There's no oil. I mean, the oil's in the gas. There's no oil. There's no coolant. Just pull the damn thing out. It's a little 2-stroke. Don't weigh nothing. All right. Then you get to the 4-strokes. Oh, 3-cylinder, 4-cylinder, 1812 cc engine. Oh my gosh. Kawasaki to the Eaton supercharger. Oh my gosh. You start looking at these things and a fully dressed Cowie is almost 200 pounds. Fully dressed Cowie 310 engine's over 200 pounds. Dude, that's a lot of gear. That's a big motor for a jet ski. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not an aluminum LS motor that's 512 pounds. It's not a 426 Hemi that weighs 816 pounds. I know these numbers off the top of my head. But 150 pounds, 180 pounds for a jet ski engine, heavy motor. It's a heavy motor. And so in order to compensate for those heavy engines, they had to make a bigger ski. Well, when you got to a bigger, when you make the ski bigger, it starts behaving differently. All right. The hull design that you had that worked really well 5 years ago on a lightweight 2-stroke is not gonna carry over for a 4-stroke in the same 1-to-1 ratio. It's just not going to work. So they had to modify. They had to start reshaping hulls to make those skis work. All right. And it was a slog. It was a fight. Some of them worked. Some of them did not work. Some worked great. Some worked okay. And it was fine. All right. It was just growth. It was how it worked. But the big concern was hull design and can we make these 4-strokes make power like a 2-stroke? Will it have the throttle response? Will it be quick? Will it have acceleration? Can we match the performance that we lost by going from 2 to 4-stroke? That was the number one concern. Once they bridged that gap, once we started supercharging, get the 255s and the 260s and the 300s, once we bridged that gap, that's when people said, okay, what else can we do? All right. And I'm telling you, back in 2006, 2007, people were already bitching that the skis were too big. All right. When the Ultra 250X came out, people were like, that thing is a freaking container ship. That thing's huge. And it remained one of the biggest skis, for the longest time. It was huge. All right. But here's the kicker. In the interim, in this process, engine management got better. Engine longevity got better. Things got better over time. They're improving over time. They don't want these skis to break. All right. They don't want them to fail. So they're making improvements. But what happens? Suddenly, we go from very easy to read analog gauges, dials, speedometer, tachometer, fuel gauge, oil pressure. For most cases, that's all you need. Well, fuel gauge, oil pressure, some idiot lights. All right. It's really what most people need. So we go from that to digital dashes. And now it's got to be a GPS speedometer. And now it's got to be, if I got a GPS speedometer, that means I got a GPS signal. Well, if I get a GPS signal, why can't I have GPS mapping? Okay, well, now we're going to pair up with Garmin, or we're going to pair up with Waves, or we're going to pair up with TomTom or whomever. And suddenly that ski's got to have all this other stuff. All right. And we also get into the conundrum of people going, well, this thing is so big and it's got so much storage that I'm going to take it on long rides. Okay, that's a great idea. But there are people taking tiny little 2-strokes out for long rides too. But suddenly those skis start getting really fancy seating and really fancy storage. And now we have a USB port for your phone. You can charge your phone because we know you're bringing your phone. So people are making USB port plugs that go in their Watercraft. Why don't we just make it from the factory? Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Well, if we're going to do that, why don't we have a waterproof case? Okay, well, let's make a sealed waterproof case for that. Oh, okay. And it starts to snowball. Okay. And I don't know if TomTom's still around. Yeah. Are they out of business? Oh, yeah, I forgot about the brakes thing, guys. Okay, so 2008, 2009, Sea-Doo comes out with brakes. And everyone's like, whoa. First couple of years, problematic. IBR, the IBR buckets, the IBR deploying engine and motors, there were some failures and there were some fixes and there were upgrades. And I think they're on like the third or fourth edition of IBR. But IBR suddenly gave people brakes. All right. I remember when reverse buckets first showed up in the 90s. And people are like, dude, I don't need a reverse bucket. And then it's like, this doesn't have a reverse bucket. It's got to have a reverse. And then, you know what? I was talking to my wife about this with reverse. How much grief did I give Yamaha and Cowie for not having a braking system? Then 2015 came out and Yamaha came out with Ride, the braking system. And we compared Ride versus IBR. And some people like IBR more. Some people like Ride more. Okay, great. And then I sat there and I beat the tar out of Cowie for not having a brake system, even though I had their patents and I knew they had a brake. You guys got to have a brake system. I mean, I did articles where I'm like, this ski is perfect except for the fact it doesn't have brakes. I said that in one of them. I'm like, it's a perfect ski except that it doesn't have brakes. And that is a deal breaker. Okay. I mean, everyone says hi to Billy. Billy's wife, Gina, rides on a 310R with no brakes. She's got a reverse bucket. She hasn't died. She's fine. She's got 580 hours on the damn thing. What the hell is my problem? I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Honestly. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid because I'm sitting there like, it's got to have brakes. It's got to have brakes. Oh my gosh, you're all going to die if you don't have brakes. I'm wrong. Because I just start thinking, I'm like, oh, I was a cheerleader cheering on this giant snowball turning into an avalanche. I did this. I'm to blame. And I'm really beside myself because I'm like, I feel that as of today, we've gone too far. I'm going to say it. As of today, we've gone too far. For anyone who has watched the 2 Kawasaki reviews I've done, and I've got one more, where I don't compare the two against each other, but I review it individually. The Ultra 310 LX, and then I review the Ultra 310X. Tell me which one of the two I liked better and why. I'll wait. You guys are right. Why? Exactly. You're exactly right. Guys, the 310 Ultra LX, it's a great ski. It's got a bunch. It's got more stuff than you can shake a stick at. It's got a bunch of stuff. But I'm telling you, the X is demonstrably more fun. It's more fun. It's less crap to worry about. It's less stuff in your face. It's a more open dash. It's a more open hood. It looks better. That big pile of kibble on top of that hood on the LX, the speakers and the air diffuser and the dash and the blah, 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 blah. Pull it off. I don't want it. I don't need the extra 16 inches of storage on the back. I don't need a backup camera or reverse facing camera. I don't need all this stuff. I'm telling you, the X is awesome. The X is awesome. And and it's funny to me because there's stuff that I still think is broken. The front storage being small and the opening being that small, I think is just broken. I think no one within Kawasaki ever attempted to put a life jacket in the front. I think they just went, it's fine, let's just do it. Send it. I don't think they thought about it. I don't think anyone thought about it. It blows my mind. Reverse backup beeper. Honda had that. In reverse, they had a buzzer or a beeper. But simple is better. And it's not a simple ski. Guys, it's got full engine management. It's got a knock sensor. It's got all this high-tech engine management stuff. It's got a brake on it. All right, it's got a GPS speedometer. But I'm starting to think that the 310X is going to be the most stripped-down performance three-seater, full-size three-seater. I know they call the GP 1800R a three-seater. What pygmies are riding 3-up on a GP 1800R? Seriously. Okay. But I have it in my head. I'm like, I'm sorry, but the 310X is pretty much the best full-size performance three-seater you're going to get. Because guess what? I love the Yamaha FX SVHO. I do. I dressed up like Darth Vader because I liked it so much. All right. I made a complete ass out of myself because I'm like, this ski's worth it. I loved it. I really do. And I loved it with the nano hull. I did. I liked it lighter. I really did. But guess what? A new one right now comes standard with sound. And guess what that means? Not only does it come standard with sound, it comes standard with the big 7-inch screen that can be full GPS, and you got to get your Garmin card, and you got to get your membership so you can use your Garmin card. And then if you're going to go to different locations, you have to upgrade your Garmin your Garmin membership. And then because it's not a global Garmin, it is just a regional map that they give you. And then you got to expand that out, and you got to be in contact with these guys, and you got to sync your phone because the Connect system syncs with your phone so that you can make a phone call from your jet ski. And I'm in my head going, I don't want to make a phone call from my jet ski. I don't want them to hear me. I don't want to be notified when I get a text message, which, by the way, the 310 does that. Ultra does that. You can't dictate a text message, but it'll tell you if you have an email or a text message. I don't want it to. I don't want my jet ski thinking for me. Thank you very much. All right. That's me. I am turning into Abe Simpson. I am Grandpa Simpson. You know, old man yells at cloud. That meme. Honestly, guys, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, can we just go ride? Can we just go jet ski instead of all this crap to distract you from riding? I mean, why do you have so much drama in your streams? I don't know. I'm not trying to be dramatic. But thanks, I guess. I don't know if it's a compliment, whatever. But yeah, FaceTime. Yeah, you can FaceTime in the office. That'd be kind of fun. Put a green screen behind you. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, I wonder if things are being lost. I wonder if things are being lost. And don't. You shouldn't watch my channel when you're out on the water. You shouldn't care what I have to say. You should go out and ride. Have a good time. Greg, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but I appreciate the joke. So how do I feel like this has gone too far? I spent 2 days on the Explorer Pro. And I realized that my experience on the Explorer Pro was not what it was designed for. Okay. It was a great ride. It was a really neat experience. But riding 2 days in Florida, where it was 90 degrees out, 85 degrees, 90 degrees, was not what the Explorer Pro was about. I mean, we only did like 120 something miles, and we did it over 2 days. I mean, each day was 60 something miles. That's light lifting. All right. That's not a long ride. That's pussyfooting. All right. In my opinion, that's pussyfooting. All right. Now, if you said, hey, we're going to do 300 miles today, I'd be like, hot damn, here we go. Okay. But let me tell you why. The Explorer Pro is effectively a Fish Pro with some major modifications. First, it has the touchscreen, larger Garmin GPS that's on the trophy. All right. The Fish Pro Scout and the Fish Pro Sport do not have the touchscreen, and it's a smaller screen. It's like 6 inches instead of 7 inches. Minor differences. The Fish Pro, all 3 Fish Pros, well, no, the Scout doesn't have it, but the Sport and the Trophy have the deck extension, but they have a single mount for a Link cooler or a Link accessory. Explorer Pro has a different top deck for the extension, and it has 3 sets of links. So you can put 3 across facing this way, or no, 2 across this way or 1 in the center. And then you can do 3 across in the back and or in the second panel that they have. So effectively you could bring 5 accessories, which is great. Especially if you're bringing a bunch of gas, if you're bringing a big cooler, if you're bringing a bunch of food, it really works out. And they get what's called the Explorer bag, and the Explorer bag is this 100-liter. It's a 100-liter bag, and it's watertight. It's made out of a dry suit material, which is actually really kind of cool. And I had a big duffel bag with my laptop and a bunch of basically my whole business was in this in this duffel bag. And I took that duffel bag and shoved it in the Explorer bag. Never worried about it. It was great. Really, it was really nice. Except the fact that I broke 2 of the buckles. I mean, immediately right out of the gate, broke 2 of the buckles, which I was surprised. But it wasn't a production unit, so pre-production. There you go. But let's get to the point at hand. Well, that's a super chat I can't answer. That's a 2-hour answer, Los Finesse. It's a 2-hour answer. I can't tell you. You want to know why? Because you're not me, and I'm not you. I don't know where you're riding. I don't know what your riding style is. I don't know how good you are at riding. Are you riding around a lake? Are you riding in the ocean? I can't answer that question for you. Here's the problem. The ST3 hull cannot handle anything but glass. And I say this with affirmation because we're in a group of 6. And we have footage, all 4 journalists. We have footage all taken from either a head mount, a mouth mount, or a chest mount of the bars being completely straight and the tiniest 4 to 6 inch wake of the ski ahead of you causing that boat to wander so erratically and so violently without any sort of input. That means it cannot track through chop. That means it is subject to the surface of the water, or it's reactive in its hull design. It is a poor hull design. Then you put all that extra weight on the back, and now you have completely changed the ride attitude of the jet ski. And we all 4, Jeff Hemmel from personalwatercraft.com, Greg Gaddis from Green Hulk, what's Adam's last name from Power Sports Business? crap, I can't remember Adam's last name, and me from the Watercraft Journal. We all recorded this because we were all looking at each other going like, is your ski doing what my ski is doing? And we all agreed. We're like, dude, they all wander. They just cannot track. They cannot track. Is it stable at low speeds? Yes. Here's the problem. That ski only comes with the 170. There is no supercharged version of the Explorer Pro. With that much weight on the ski and going on average 35 miles an hour, that the hull is actually even worse. I actually found it more enjoyable. I found that hull more enjoyable in the 45 to 60 mile an hour range in rougher water than I did on semi-glass conditions going 35. It was night and day. It was crazy. Then you have two other things. You have the big tech package screen. You have your big Garmin screen, and then you've got the giant windscreen. The giant windscreen has a little tiny vent. You're supposed to open up the vent. You're supposed to let air through. It barely lets any air fuel. Oh boy, it barely lets any air flow through there. Effectively enough to dehaze it. Here's the problem. The windscreen is almost entirely impossible to see through if you are wearing polarized sunglasses. If you are wearing polarized sunglasses, you'll be thinking you're looking at a pool of gasoline. It refracts light so badly that you can't read the water. You cannot read the water. And you might think that I am like taking this too far, but all four of us were like, yeah, dude, you can't see out of the windscreen. You sitting down with polarized sunglasses, you can't read the water. You're just looking for obstacles. And of course, if there's something in the water, you're not going to see it until you're right on top of it. Because again, it refracts light so badly that you're seeing just a multicolor of haze through the windscreen. So there's that. Then it does such a good job. It really does such a good job at blocking wind that we started to sweat behind the windscreen. We got hot, and we're like, oh my gosh, I changed out of my jersey into just a cotton t-shirt. Greg just took his shirt off and was in a vest because he's like, dude, I'm sweltering. We were all boiling. So we ended up seeing, most of us ended up standing up while riding just to get some wind on us. Now, the windscreen does unlatch and flip forward, but honestly, I thought that I thought in trying to pop it loose and folding it forward, I was going to break something, and I just didn't want to break it. And finally, it was like, no, you need to just pop it off the latch and it will fold forward. But how you do it is that the whole windscreen is on a very short throw 3-inch jack. It's on a small shock absorber. And the reason why it's on a shock absorber is that if you impact it, it will give. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to be a rigid surface, which is smart. It's a good safety feature. It means that they put a lot of thought into it. But if you want to roll it forward, you push it forward so it unlatches two of the hooks, and then you pull up and it unhooks two other little pegs, and it'll roll all the way forward. Problem is that if you roll it all the way forward and you go riding, it's going to be clapping and hitting the front of your ski the whole time. So you could hurt your windscreen, you could hurt your ski. It's not something you really want to do. So we tried it and we're like, that's not a good idea. So we all folded it back on, latched it on, and said, okay, we're going to ride with it, but we're going to stand up. So we all ended up standing up on it. So here was my takeaway on it, and it's in the draft of the editorial I was writing, was that the Explorer is so muted and it's so insulated, and it removes the rider from the experience of riding a jet ski. All right. You turn the sound system on with the windscreen up, it is crystal clear. It's a good thing. I can hear all my music. Oh, it's awesome. All right. Because you don't have the wind noise. You have no wind noise. I'm 6'2" and I'm sitting on the seat and I'm sitting on the hump of the seat because it's extra padded and they want you to sit on the pad if you're tall enough and extend the bars back so that you're on a big cushy donut. Well, you're on this big, and it's thick. It is a thick, nice padded seat. So you're sitting there on this big, thick padded seat, no wind noise, no breeze, listening to your music with your Garmin sound system, or your Garmin, not sound system, but your Garmin tracking GPS and depth sounder, and you're on this big, floaty boat that's packing all this gear. And I realized I'm on a John boat. I'm on a bass boat. This isn't a jet ski. I don't have the throttle to get on it, even in sport mode. Even in sport mode, it can't get out of its way. I don't know if you guys are friends with me on Facebook. I'm currently building a 1970 Plymouth Fury 3 convertible for my other magazine, for my car magazine. It's in the back. I call it Marsha because Mike Brady on the Brady Bunch drove that exact car in the same color and everything. He just had a bigger engine. I have the little 318. And I'm telling you, that boat is big enough to land small aircraft on it, but that little 4-barrel Carter AFB fed 318 can't get that barge out of its own way. And that's how I felt riding the Explorer. Now, I started this by saying that my experience was not what this watercraft was meant for. And so I'm going to eat crow on this one and say, here's why I am wrong. The Explorer Pro, and 2 of them had the heated hand grips, which no one used because it was 85 degrees. The Explorer Pro is great, in my takeaway, for the off-season rider. Okay? Because when I ride when it's cold, and I do ride when it's cold, and you guys have seen video footage of me with ice and snow on the skis. I am not BSing. I do this. Those who know me and have been fans of the channel for a long time will all be like, yeah, Kevin's batshit crazy. He rides when there's snow on when there's ice on the water. I do. This ski with heated hand grips and the windscreen would be fantastic when you have wind chill of 35 degrees out. So your ears and your nose aren't trying to break off. Oh, okay. That makes sense. The Garmin, I will never, ever poo-poo navigation. All right. Is it expensive? Yeah. Is it nice? Yeah. Is it, a bit of a project to mount on your ski? Sure. But if you can get one, do it. Because I think it's worth the price of admission. But the Explorer is for a demographic of people that I simply don't represent. My core interests aren't really reflected in that ski. Somebody wanted that ski. And that ski speaks to a lot of people. All right. But here's the thing. Those people are people who I don't want to be cold. I don't want to be wet. I don't want to have any sort of fear of being tippy or rolling into a corner and making a tight turn. I want it to be as comfortable as humanly possible. All right. Creature comfort over everything. And I'm like, great. You're living behind screens. You're living behind the Garmin. You're living behind the dash. You're living behind that giant windscreen. You are, and of course, everything's tied to your phone. So you're like this. Oh boy, I'm having so much fun on my jet ski. Isn't this great? I'm on my phone. Oh, wait a minute. I got a text message. That's jet skiing today. And I'm like, well, I can't sit there and go, if you're the kind of guy who doesn't want to feel the wind on your face and doesn't want to hear the wind blowing past your ears and doesn't mind getting wet because you know what, dude, you're on a jet ski, that screw you. No, I can't be that guy. I can't be that guy because it's not my place. It's not my place. It's not your place to tell someone else what to like and what not to like. All right. I think the last 3 Disney Star Wars movies were burning hot garbage. But there are people out there who are like, I loved them. They're great. I think you're an idiot. But guess what? My opinion doesn't matter to you. And that's okay. That's okay. All right? So, I mean, it sucks, but I'm of the core principle that I believe jet skiing jet skiing is a portal to take you to freedom. Jet skiing should be a liberating, exhilarating, fun, natural experience. All right? It brings you closer to the water. It brings you closer to the elements. The same way riding a motorcycle on the road is more engaging than driving a car. And I build cars. All right? And then you say, okay, instead of on the road, you take that motorcycle and it's a dual sport and you go out and you hit the dirt and you hit trails. Even more. So there's that experience. And, you know, it's difficult because I don't want to write a really crappy review of the Explorer Pro, but I have to admit, I don't think I'm the right representative for this machine. I'm the person who's I'm the problem. I'm the problem, not that. Because I'm like, well, it doesn't turn sporty. It doesn't have the throttle and the acceleration, and it's too heavy, and blah 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 blah. And I can write a list of complaints, and then the next guy reads that list and he goes, "That's everything I'm looking for. That is everything I want." And I go, "Oh, okay. You know what? I got a buddy of mine. He was the best man at my wedding. And I was roommates with him when I was in college. We lived in Huntington Beach. Great, neat apartment. Anyway, we went on a road trip. I don't remember where we went. And we stopped in this truck stop. And in that truck stop, there was this little display. And it was all these CDs. And it was like $5 for $10 or something like that. And it was all these random CDs. And I didn't know I didn't know. And they're mainly like, they were like country singers and folk singers and all these. I mean, these were no name people. All right. These were absolutely no. It might have been, faith singers. It might have been Christian rock. It might have been all these different things. And we're going through and like, oh, hey, look, best John Denver. Okay. I recognize John Denver, okay, great. And, it's like, oh, hey, Cat Stevens. Okay, I recognize that. And, oh, Garth Brooks. Okay, and you would recognize different things, but it was very slim pickings of the ones you'd recognize. There's a bunch of weird ones. And my buddy Robbie looked, and he goes, what's funny is that by the law of averages, there is someone who's going to walk up to this tray of random music and go, these are all of my favorite bands. These are all of my favorite singers. This is everything. I don't have enough money to buy all these CDs. And we all started laughing. We thought that was really funny. But law of averages. Clearly there was demand. Clearly there was enough demand for them to build the Explorer. Clearly. All right. And not only just slap a bunch of stuff on that they had sitting on a shelf. No, they actually made innovative changes that was unique to that machine. So it came with great pressure. So the Florida guy who's like, dude, I'm a hot rodder, or I don't do big long rides, and I never ride when it's cold. Cold in Florida means like 65 degrees. They wear hoodies when it's 70. They're like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. All right, anyway. So I had to wear socks with my sandals. I couldn't go just flip-flops. Anyways, so that was kind of the whole takeaway of this whole thing, was I really felt that the Explorer completely removed the enthusiast from the experience of riding a jet ski. And I know there's people who are like, oh, it's great. It's everything I've always wanted. Please, sir, may I have another? But for me, I was like, you are so extracted, you're so removed from the experience of riding a ski that, I mean, it's not even riding a jet ski. You're not. And that, I did a video of like, hey, I think our skis are losing their soul. I think we're losing the spirit of jet skiing. The Explorer was that exemplified. It just really was, because there was so many things removing and blocking you from the exhilaration of riding and being on the water. It just removes you. It's now a mode of transportation. It's no longer a toy, it's transportation. And I thought that was disheartening. All right, let me answer some of these super chats before they all disappear, and then we'll get back and I'll talk a little bit about the Apex. Okay, I know Adventure State had a question, and I passed over it. Chris, can you ask me again that question, and I will answer it. Just write the word question so I recognize it. But I want to answer your question. I know I missed it. All right. Henry writes, do I need a special trailer for my Superjet? Is it any harder to do an oil change compared to an RXT? And do you know how to drive a manual transmission? Yes, I know how to drive a manual transmission. Yes, I know how to 2-foot. I know how to do a burnout in a manual transmission. And I'm talking an actual staged burnout. Hard to do an oil change. Check your manual. It'll tell you how to change your oil. All right. Because the TR1 is not the same as a Sea-Doo, Ace 300. And your Superjet probably will, the bunks on your runabout trailer are going to be too wide for your Superjet, and your Superjet's going to slide in between. It's going to get stuck, and you're probably going to end up being on one side or rubbing on the other side. So you want to be able to bring your bunks in, which most trailers allow you to bring the bunks in, or bring them flat, if you can bring them flat, and see how it sits in there. It is a new hull. On my old steel trailer, the Moonshine trailer, I brought the bunks in. On my new aluminum trailer, I brought the bunks flat, and it sat flat. All right. We got more super chats I need to answer. Ayo Mikey writes, is there any way to remove the built speakers on the new FXs? No. Are they drilled into the hull, into the deck? Yes. Will removing them show the holes in the hull, in the deck? And yes. It sucks because the new FX colors are awesome, but the audio ruins it. Yes, they are standard, except for on the FX HO. You cannot get them without. And they come from the factory that way as well. Andrew, so much drama. Boo-hoo. All right. What's the difference between the Ultra LX and the FX Limited SVHO? Which one would you get? Neither. I don't want any of that extra crap. Henry writes, rip to the man who invented the jet ski, Clayton Jacobson II. And I don't mean to be a jerk, but can you answer my last super chat? Yes, I just did. And then you're not being a jerk. I just was on a rant and I didn't want to stop. Andrew, what is your opinion on small jet ribs, tendies like Williams ETC, Weber 750 engine transmission? By ribs, you mean the? Are you talking the ribs, the RIBs that go around like a jet ski? I've seen them. I've never ridden any with them. I always wanted to ride that GTI that had them because I thought it'd be hilarious. They're for rescues. They're training wheels. Have you ever seen an adult on a bicycle with training wheels? Stay clear. All right. Clutch user says, as soon As a soon-to-be first-time PWC owner, the last thing I ever cared about was audio and any dumb phone options. I want to go fast for a long period of time. That's it. Clutch is my spirit animal. Thank you for that one. That was great. All right. Oh, I had another one from Paris. Paris writes, I'm looking into getting my first stand-up. Did a ton of research, and I'm leaning towards the 2014 through 15 Superjet. What is your personal favorite stand-up? Personal favorite stand-up of all time is the Kawasaki SXR 800. It is the last of the two-strokes from Kawasaki. They ended it in 2012. And I think it ran 10 years. I think it was 02 to 12, if I'm not mistaken. The SXR 1500 two-stroke was easily one of the most enjoyable hulls. One of the most, it was a large tray. I wear a size 11 shoe. I'm 6'2", so it had a long enough handle pull. It was one of the most easy to ride stand-ups. And it was still manageable, and it was still a stand-up. You cut the throttle, the nose dropped down. You can manage it in a turn. You can hit the throttle, pull back up, get out of it. The 1500, I don't enjoy it. It's too big. It's too burly. It doesn't respond like a stand-up should. The new Superjet does a better job. But if you're looking at the traditional 701s and 751s, that Superjet, it 14, 15, it's no different than 18, 19. It's no different from 10, 11. I think they changed some minor things in 09 or 10. I want to say 9, but I might be wrong on that one. All right. Oh, okay. Adventure State. Adventure State asked, Kawasaki announced the 2023 Ultra 310s, but website still has 2012, 2022 Ultra. I presume you mean LX. Do you think naturally aspirated Ultra will not be even included in the roster for 23? They're just going to clear out what existing units are there. They're not producing, from my understanding, from what I have been told, and I have not received hard confirmation from Kawasaki because they said, quote, it's premature to ask. But my understanding is that there will not be a 2023 Ultra LX. There will be a redesigned 24. It got pushed back, maybe pushed back another year. But the redesign for the naturally aspirated Ultra will not be coming out for 23. That's what I've been told. Everything that you see for 2022 is a direct, complete 100% carryover for 23. So there it is. All right. Brian Carter asks, off topic, I'm going on a long trip next year. What is your longest trip, and what extra stuff did you bring? Longest trip I ever did was 540 miles on the Tennessee River. I did it was 400 we did over 500 miles on Tennessee River. I didn't do the whole Tennessee 600 because that ride, they stop every 20 minutes and they all go 35 miles an hour. They're slow as snot and they stop and stop and stop. And I'm like, dude, I want to do this in 2 days. And they're like, we're going to take 6 days. I go, 6 days? Oh my gosh, let's do 300 miles a day. No way. So I've done over 500 miles and it was over 3 days. Cooler, lots of fluids. And you're going to be restocking fluids. Rotate through your board shorts. If you got 2 or 3 pairs, rotate through your board shorts. Vest may not, you can hang your vest up overnight, turn it inside out, let it breathe. If it's a neoprene, actually both of them, just turn them inside out, let it breathe on a hanger in your hotel room. Bring it with you. But yeah, fluid is going to be the biggest thing. Lots of granola bars, lots of Cliff bars, granola bars, nuts. I prefer cashews. Peanuts, those are good protein. And they're sealed up pretty good. You get a little, like the little planters, single servings, or if you get like the little, planters things, lots of snacks, because typically you're not going to end up stopping to eat. You're going to be riding. At least I am. So you just eat on the fly. And if you can do that, I'm going to recommend something that you shouldn't do, but people do it, is if you can find any sort of slip-on sleeve or collar that will hold your gas, hold your throttle, even halfway. You can set your cruise control for 45 miles an hour, put the throttle on, slide that thing on the handlebars, and just put it over there, and now your hands are free. Because if you're doing a long ride like that, chances are you're going to be on glass for a long time. That ski's not going to do anything. So I should say people allegedly people do this instead of I recommend this. But yeah, I don't recommend ever doing that. But I heard that people can. Let's see if that worked. All right. Let's see. I'll answer some questions. Do we have any more questions? Rubber band has too much tension. And it's hard to slide off. Because if you have to grab the throttle and slide it off, your rubber band's going to stick on it. Question: will a 2019 Yamaha VX-HO make the trip from Miami to Bimini in one tank? That's a good question. Typically from Miami to Bimini, I believe that distance is 54 miles. And 18.5 gallon tank, you should be good. But I would buy my auxiliary fuel kit. That's an extra 12 gallons, just in case you never want to run it thin. You always want to have a spare tire. You want to have backup. And being out in the open ocean, you could get caught up in a squall real fast. So yeah, it does not equal 100 miles because your fuel consumption could. Yeah, you're not getting 6 miles of the gallon. You're getting like 5.4. So the Niagara River. No, I've never ridden the Niagara River. No, there's nothing new. 23 to 22, there's nothing new besides colors on the GPs. For Geek and Steve, that's your answer. There's nothing new. It's colors. All right. Let's see if there's any more questions. My mom works for corporate Yamaha. So I got my hands on it. Nice. All right. That works out. Question: Yamaha does not allow catch can blow-off valve, but I would like to add them for preventative measures. If anything goes wrong with ski, they can refuse warranty. Get them or warranty. Get them. Take them off before you go to the dealer. Keep all your stock parts. Don't make any permanent modifications. Don't drill any holes. Be smart. If you're going to break the law, be smart about it. If you're going to break the rules, be smart about it. Cover your tracks. It's not hard. You guys ever sneak home when you were a kid? Sneak home late? Cover your tracks. I don't know how that's hard. All right. No, Henry, I saw your. All right, any more questions? Rob writes, my 2022 VX Cruiser or VX Deluxe never arrived. Thinking of upgrading to a VX Cruiser for 2023. Is cruiser seat worth the difference in comfort and value of highly upgraded ski? Depends on how tall you are. I'm 6'2". I don't like the cruisers because I sit on the backrest. I sit on it like a hemorrhoid donut. You know those red things that old men sit on? Yeah, I always end up sitting on that thing. I never like where it positions you. So for the cruisers, I'm not a big fan. It's just the seat. Because the Deluxe should have cruise control. Cruise control is nice, but I don't know if it's worth the upgrade. It depends. I mean, you yourself have to weigh that. You yourself have to weigh whether it's worth the seat. You know, how tall am I, and do I need cruise control? What is the best jet ski for rental? That's a good question. Well, I mean, let's see. The VXC is is popular from Yamaha. There was a GTI Pro, and then they made it the GTX Pro. I wouldn't ride a GTX Pro. I wouldn't, because again, it's the ST3 hull, and I don't know if I can't beat that horse. I don't know if I can beat that dead horse enough. So if they're still making the GTI Pro, but VXC, which is the rental unit, the VXC is a great unit. All right. Question: is a supercharged jet ski too much for a first-time owner? It really depends on the first-time owner, but to be honest, I often say yes. Most people that I talk to when it comes to buying their first watercraft that they've ever owned, I typically recommend often an FXHO. FXHO has plenty of storage. It's very comfortable. It's very reliable. Great fuel mileage. It is a bigger ski. Now they say, okay, well, hey, listen, how about a VX? The VXHO, what's funny is that now you're in a totally different power to weight ratio. Suddenly you get it, a VXHO is like a VXR. It's suddenly, and now the VXR doesn't exist anymore. Here I am saying VXR. It's just a slightly heavier GP 1800R HO. All right. I'm splitting hairs. So I'm a first-time buyer, and I bought a GP SVHO. And you know what? Some people will love them. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, some people absolutely love them. And some people are like, what the hell did I buy? This thing's wild, and it's just too much ski for them. But again, you've kind of voiced that you're like, hey, man, I want something hot. I want something rowdy. I want something fast. Then there you go. It's a go trigger. Hopefully you got it without sound, because you don't need that rattling and chattering the whole time. All right. Yamaha Marine Australia writes, Kevin, you said your wife bought you pink Post-it notes, but we can see you have rainbow colors, but are choosing to use the pink. They're just at the top. Yeah. This is what my wife comes home with from Office Depot. And it just, what am I going to do? Am I going to dig from the middle here? Really? Just using what's on top. And they're not even stuck together, which sucks. If you support the channel, send me some good Post-it notes. Or P.O. boxes. I can send you a P.O. box. Anyway. I'm just using what they gave me. Sorry. I'm the victim in this circumstance. Thoughts on cooler bag with fishing pole holders? A cooler bag? I think they'd flop. I want something more secure. I've seen rods fly out of really deep, nice rod holders. So the more the better. Will you do, very good question, Adam. I like this. Will you do more videos and articles highlighting some of the more basic entry-level models? Very good. Sadly, I am at the whim of what I can get my hands on. And more often than not, the manufacturers want the media on their whiz-bang top-of-the-line stuff. When I show up going, hey, can I get my hands on a GTI 130? They look at you cross-eyed. They're like, why? We have no problem selling those. We want you helping us sell the big stuff. So again, I'm kind of at their mercy, if you can understand what I'm kind of laying down here. Yes, Dana gets it. Thank you very much. The simplicity of the FCR is why I love it. The looks of the FCR is why I love it. The hull of the FCR is why I love it. The ability to absolutely snap a corner is why I love the FCR. Killing the FCR, I feel. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was due. It was 9 years in. But man, the FCR was just such a great ski. Geek and Steve comes back with another one. Last question for me. Anything I need to know as a first-time GP 1800R SVHO owner, like maintenance, and what to do after our ride in fresh water? You can follow our basic maintenance guides. We've done videos on that. Or you can just follow the manual. The manual is lying to you. The manual has everything you need in it. It's actually full of good stuff. It's not lies and deception. I promise. I promise that the manual is there to help you. So yeah, the manual will tell you basic wash down sequence. You can see our even though we labeled it for saltwater and we used the Sea-Doo, you can follow the steps and they're almost identical for your Yamaha. So we have a whole video on that. Good question. Which, by the way, I love the name of this account. It's so funny. He's written questions and comments before. So, putting warheads on foreheads since 1947 asks, question: is there any way to slow down a jet ski for someone who is new to riding jet skis? Not for me, but for someone else. Well, thankfully, most new watercraft do offer learning modes. Kawasaki used to have a learning key. It was a yellow key. Yamaha has a learning mode that you can go in through the Connect dash and you can put in. Sea-Doo has eco mode, which is, they've had that since 2009, 2008. And eco mode is effectively a learning mode. Sea-Doos used to have a green lanyard, which was also a learning mode as well. So all those options there, and these are effectively 2008 and up, do have some sort of learning mode. Mikey, when is Cowie supposed to release the 330R? Never. It's never going to happen. It's going to happen the same time that Sea-Doo has a 4-cylinder, and the same time that Yamaha comes out with a 2-liter turbo. When Yamaha comes out with a 2-liter turbo, I think I'm going to just check out. I'm going to be done. Chad. That's funny. All right. Let's do this one. Chad, do you think Sea-Doo will ever listen to you and fix the ST3 hull? Sea-Doo does not care what I have to say regarding the ST3 hull, in as much as that I am not hurting sales. If I begin hurting sales, they'll pull their advertising from me, and then I'll be like, you know what? Screw this. I'm done. All right? Because not worth it. YouTube's fun, but it ain't paying the bills. So, yeah. What's going to change the ST3 hull is people being hurt and those things going viral. People losing control of their skis and going into weeds and going into trees and going into grass and, out in the sticks. That's happening. What's gonna cause them to change is public outcry. Is people saying this thing handles like a freaking flat bottom boat with a rudder in the front, which it does. They already have heard me complain about it. They've heard Green Hulk complain about it. They've heard racers complain about it. But the problem is that people go out and they buy it. And this is the entire premise of today's video, was that it is an influx of people who are not diehard enthusiasts, but they want to go into something new, but they don't want to be put out. So like, well, I don't really want to get wet. I really don't want to have my hair get blown. And I really don't want to be cold or uncomfortable if we're leaving in the morning. And I want to be able to listen to my music, or I want to listen to a podcast, which they literally said at one time, you can listen to your favorite podcast while you ride. Ugh. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so this influx of potential buyers and potential sales is what is pushing manufacturers. I don't blame Sea-Doo. I don't blame Yamaha. I don't blame Kawi. All right. I don't blame these guys. They have to go where the money is, guys. Am I crazy? I don't blame them. All right. If every dealer came banging on Yamaha's door and they said, everyone wants fuchsia colored jet skis. That's the only thing we're getting demands for is fuchsia. They want it freaking purple. They're going to go, oh, crap, we got to make some purple jet skis. And that's what all next year is going to be, is purple jet skis. Because all the freaking dealers are screaming out and going, every person's asking for a purple jet ski. All right. Same thing with all black. I do a Darth Vader video and everyone gets all horny about it. And they start sharing all the pictures about, Darth Vader. I got to have a blacked out ski. And everyone wants blacked out skis. And so Sea-Doo goes and does blackout. And Yamaha carries blacked out for 2 more years. And everyone's doing blacked out. All right. It's because it gets word of mouth out. If I went and did a video, that just absolutely attacked the ST3 hull and just showed everything humanly wrong with it, I would burn my relationship with Sea-Doo for sure. I mean, done. I'd be burned. Because they're like, dude, you could have done that a little bit with, with some tact. And I'm like, have I been known to have tact? But all of a sudden, get word of mouth out. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to have every diehard Sea-Doo Kool-Aid drinker going, dude, it's great. The ST3 hull is awesome. Does everything I've ever wanted. It's the best. And it's just like, there's no convincing those guys because he's got a freaking payment that he's got to justify to his wife. And he's sitting there going like, it's the best. It's great. And you're like, dude, it's trash. No, it's awesome. And it's effectively what I was saying to Greg Gaddis at the airport. I was laughing. I'm like, you ever have a buddy of yours? I mean, you ever have like a really good friend who was dating an absolute monster of a girl? Like total the worst bee you've ever encountered. I did. And no joke. I had a buddy of mine. I loved him. Good friend. Really nice guy. And I'll tell you what, the funniest thing about it was that he had this girlfriend that no one liked. Oh God, nobody liked this girl. She was, and she was mean to him. She was mean to us. Don't get me wrong, we're a bunch of a-holes, so it's like, okay, I get it. A bunch of 22-year-old a-holes. But this chick just absolutely bulldozed my buddy, and he was totally whipped. Oh God, he was whipped. Well, we got it together, and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm gonna grill. We're gonna have a cookout. I'll grill. We'll make make burgers and stuff, and let's all hang out, watch a movie. Oh, awesome! So we all went to a buddy's apartment. And we were all doing this. And once the food was all laid out and we all sat down on the couch, we turned the TV off and we all turned to Ivan and we're like, we got to talk about your girlfriend. He's like, are we seriously having an intervention? And all of us were like, bro, we love you, but I know she makes you happy, but she's a monster. And he went through all 5 of us. Like, no, man, you don't know. You don't know. She's great. Oh, you don't know. Oh, man, you don't know. Okay. Well, he got married. And I want to say 6 years later, I'm driving from Florida to California and my phone rings. And I'm like, this is Kevin. And he goes, hey, man, it's Ivan. I'm like, Ivan, how you doing, dude? I haven't talked to you in forever. And he says, I just want to let you know you were right. The words, right? The first words out of his mouth. I want to let you know you're right. And I go, I don't know what about, but it sounds like I'm not going to be happy about being right. And he says, I'm telling you right now, he says, I never should have married this girl. He goes, absolutely ruined my life. Ruined my life. And it was heartbreaking. He had kids. He had joined the Navy. I mean, now mind you, he's married, remarried. He's got a wonderful relationship with his kids. He's living a good life right now. I'm elated for him now. But at the time, I was like, oh. And I sit there and I think about that intervention, and I think about his defenses. He's, no, man, no. Oh, you don't know. Oh, man, she's great. No. And every time I get into it with some dude who's a hardcore Sea-Doo dude who's like, no, man, my RX-TX is great. I'll kick your ass out in the rough. Okay, you pick the ski, Kevin, and I'll ride with you. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll kick your ass. Oh, okay. And all I hear is my buddy defending that girl. All I hear is that. No, dude, you don't know her like I know her. Oh, she's so nice. Oh, she's great. Oh, my parents love her. Oh, all I hear is that. All I hear is that. I'm like, okay, buddy. So, all right, we're an hour and 42 minutes into this. Can she make a sandwich? I don't know. My GP says the same. I'll kick your ass. Well, GP will kick the ass of the rider and the guy next to him. Because GPs, dude, GPs, they're the reason they win. It's the reason they win. They're lightweight. They skitter across the surface of the water. You'll feel everything until you're feeling. I mean, you're going to feel every bump on the water. Your feelings are going to bounce out of your head. But that thing is going to be pinned. If you pin that SOB, you are going to be your hair is going to be on fire. Just, they're so much fun. They're so much fun. Can she back a boat trailer? It's funny. It's funny. All right, guys. Well, we didn't do any movie trivia. Who should get the straps? Who had a good question? Shoot. Geek and Steve. Yeah, I know your mom hooked you up with a good ski, but you're a first-time owner. You need some straps. Geek and Steve. Hey, email me. Email me info@watercraftjournal.com. And you get the Strippinos. You get a pair of ratchet straps. I liked your question. Plus, you're the only name I can think of off the top of my head, and I'm tired. The wake skis. They're just GTIs and GTXs, just with a really neat color combination. I think the wakes get the best color combinations. Oh, guys, honestly, if you haven't seen it in person, you got to go check out the Wake Pro 230 in person, dude. They freaking sewed. There's embossed palm trees on the seats. The color combination in person absolutely is one of the. It's so Miami. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. All right. It's a cool ski. I hate the hull, but it is what it is. Brian, are you going to talk about the Apex? Do you guys want me to talk about the Apex? Let me know if you want me to talk about the Apex. I'm going to take a drink of water and look at my emails. So nobody wants me to talk about the Apex. I don't see a single person. I'm joking. All right, I'll give you guys 15 minutes on the Apex. All right. Apex is when I was sent the presentation, when I sat down for the presentation for the Apex, they were looking at something that was going to be a 1-year limited edition, high-end, kind of a prestige model. Okay. There is no difference in weight. There is no difference in dimension. There is no difference in power output. On paper, it is line for line identical to stock. All right. Here's the kicker. The carbon fiber skin on the hood, the substructure is the same. And the carbon fiber panels on top of the mirrors, they're very well done. That you can really screw up carbon fiber. I've seen really bad carbon fiber. They did a very nice job. It was very well done. So I got to give them credit for that. There is some nice embossed raised letter. I don't know. I think they're molded. I don't think they're 3D printed. Nice emblems on it. So it's kind of got premier emblems on it. They chose British Racing Green, which is Jaguar green. I grew up with Jaguar Racing Green. It's just Jaguar green. But British Racing Green. They felt that it was a higher class, a more premier color. They said we could have done Ferrari red or we could have done Millennium yellow, but we felt that it didn't contrast the carbon fiber as well as the green did. And you have to understand, these are not Americans. These are Canadians. And the Canadians are thinking about Formula One racing. Okay. They don't think of NASCAR. They don't think of NHRA. They don't give a damn about American racing heritage. They're thinking British racing, which, okay, fine. So Lotus, Jaguar, British Racing Green. That was the idea of And no, there's no chrome. There's not chrome. The emblems are not chrome. They're kind of a pewter. They're not metal by any means, but they're not chrome. Jaguar, not Jaguar. Oh, screw you, Steve. Jaguar. It's Jaguar. Blow it out your rear. I don't want to hear that. It's Jaguar. One of them Jaguars. With the bad electronics that catch on fire and the pistons that are about that big round. Shoot. Jaguar. Screw you. Anyway. But yeah, that was the whole idea of it. The only other thing, there's two other things that they give you on the Apex. Or am I mispronouncing Apex, Steve? Should we pronounce Apex? The Apex. On the Sea-Doo Apex. That is in Jaguar Racing Green. You do get the rear passenger seat. You get both. Great Poupon. Pardon me. Worcestershire. So, anyways, it comes with the passenger seat. It also has your standard one-seater, so you get both. Okay, that's a couple $100. The big thing is the steering dampener. All right, that's really the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, it has the tech package. Yeah, it has the sound system. Yeah, it has the USB port in it. Okay, it's every box you can check on the damn thing. All right, but Apex. I feel like it's the king from Disney's Robin Hood who laughed and go, aha, aha. Anyway, sorry. I got little kids. I see Disney movies. So, anyways, there's no tensile strength. There's literally nothing. Jonathan, no. There is absolutely zero dynamic forces on those hoods. They are not going to crack. They're not going to break the same way your plastic ones would break. And your plastic ones don't crack or break because it's just the hood. It's just the hood bouncing. Rattle, 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 rattle. And your mirrors rattle, 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 rattle. There's no tension on it. It's not super tight. You're fine. All right. Yeah, it's decorative. Guys, it's decorative. You know, like everything you put on a Honda. It's not like it's going to make it fast. It just goes, rah, rah. They all sound like sheep delivering babies. Stupid. Funniest movie of 2000 was Fast and Furious. Anyway, Thurston Howell, lovey. Lovey dear. Really, the big thing is steering dampener. And there's a lot of engineering that went into this. And there's a lot of thought that went into it. And I cornered the guy from Sea-Doo. And I'm like, there's no way this is a one and done. And he goes, no. He goes, it'll be an option for like 24. Well, no, he didn't even say that. He said, no. He didn't even say, yeah, steering dampener. Steering dampener. It's got a steering dampener. It dampens the steering, and it's hydraulic as well. And and how it works, it's got a leverage arm that you'll see underneath it. I mean, you'll see the steering neck. It has a small pitman arm that acts as a lever, and it doesn't move, but that's its point of tension off the coil spring that's inside of it. It's a clock spring, I should say, not coil spring. It's a clock spring. And what happens? No, it is not a marketing gizmo. It works. It legit works. And I mean, 16,000 people who've watched that video that I put up, which is literally just a GoPro video with my hoarse ass voice going, that hurt my throat just doing that. Damn it. that hurt. No, it literally works. So I was asking him, I'm like, listen, there's no way this is a one and done. And he goes, it's not going away. And I'm like, it's going to be one of those boxes you check. And he kind of shrugged. Because, again, you can get the telescopic steering as an option. Steering dampener is going to be a pricey add-on. But it legit works. And the biggest thing about it, and I was in the actual Apex or OPEX, the Sea-Doo OPEX review, I should pronounce it review. In our OPEX review, I want to put a side by side of me on the Purple 21 and me on the OPEX. I'm going to do that from now on just to annoy the hell out of you. I'm going to show how much steering input, because just doing the corners out, you just S turns. I mean, nothing crazy. All right. I'm not Chris McCluggage. This isn't tough. All right. But just doing some S turns, the rider input is 20 times what it is on the OPEX. And it legit soaks up a lot of that need for input. And it works really both ways. Because ultimately what your steering is doing is that it's moving the steering nozzle, the jet nozzle at the end. Well, what you find is that because the bow is hunting so bad and the ski's trying to break its tail loose, what's happening is that the nozzle is fighting and having to adjust and make hard snap turns. Well, what is going on with the dampener is that the dampener is taking a lot of that erraticism out. What do you do when you have to go to the bathroom on long trips? Number one, jump in. I gratefully have not had to make I've gratefully not had to do the second one on most trips. Or you go to a fuel dock. Yeah, John. Oh boy. I know guys who have, and I'm like, I don't think you're clean. That's not very hygienic. So, I mean, unless you have like a lot of, you have a really good, amount of fiber in your diet. But yeah, just jump in and take a leak. All right. So when it comes to the steering dampener, it really does absorb a lot of the erraticism of trying to steer the RX-PX in cornering. Will the steering dampener work on other machines? I haven't tried it, so I don't really know. I mean, mechanically, yeah, it could be installed. That's easy. But how will it actually work? Well, I've yet to believe that it'll fix the ST3. I just don't believe it will. But I do believe that the steering dampener will far survive after the Apex is gone. Apex is one done. Apex is the end of 1 year. In fact, my understanding is that like all 80 or all 85 units that were supposed to go to Australia are already called for. And I don't know how many units they're going to do for the U.S. and internationally. They said, we were going to have like a limited run number, like 1,100 or 900 or 500 or however many. And they said, well, maybe we don't want to lock ourselves into a permanent number because maybe we can make more. Okay. But it's still planned on being limited. So I think they're kind of putting the cart before the horse on that one. So anyway, the steering dampener really is the big takeaway from it. Everything else is really just kind of flash in the pan. Everything else is just kind of like, I want to have this limited edition ski. What was interesting to me was I made the comment. I said, man, I'm really surprised that you guys don't have like an owner's package that goes with this. And they go, what do you mean? I'm like, well, first, a limited run number. I have number 007 or I have number 049 or whatever it is, so you can kind of be a snob about what number you had. That's something. Number two is you got like a life vest or you got a jersey or you got a bracelet or you got something that you could wear at the dock or with your group or wherever to show off that you dumped a bunch of cash on buying an Apex, because that's why these people are buying the Apex. Racers aren't going to go out and buy Apexes. They don't care. All right. They don't care about Jaguar green and they don't care about the carbon fiber. It means nothing to them. What they want is that steering. What they want is probably that steering thing. If a racer does want that at all. Some do, some don't. So, the big takeaway of the Apex really for the future is going to be that steering dampener. I think it is. And it was interesting was Greg Gaddis made a really good observation, which I liked, is, I'm already 2 hours into this thing. I really should tap out. Thanks, Daniel. But he was like, for the price, I really thought they would have a wider handlebar with the steering dampener, so you have better leverage, and a grippier seat material, because the seat materials are actually really standard. It's kind of slick. It doesn't bite very good. And so I was like, oh man, that, hey, listen, 20 grand, $20,999, save the seat or the sound system. I don't care less about the sound system, but give me a grippier seat and better handlebars. Okay, that's kind of cool. I'd do that. So there was just little things. But again, I think the Apex was meant to be more premier than it was a race ski. And I was like, well, I get that. Carbon fiber, racing green, less rider input through the steering. back seat, raised letter emblems and all the jazz. Okay, I get you. Oh, and like all the mats are all the the hydroturf. It's not hydroturf, but that was a yawn. I'm sorry. That was rude. Apologize. It's gonna be more than that, Thomas. Buckle up for the markups. It's gonna be a $30,000 ski. It's gonna be 28, 27, 28, 29. So yeah, I mean it's and what's funny is that I think that steering dampener is going to be completely retroactive. I think back to 2012, if not at least 2021. So it'll just be something that, and again, it's like, do you really need to have the green? Do I really need the carbon fiber? Do I really need XYZ? Meh. At what point is it too expensive? When people stop paying for it. But there's people who are still paying. Once they stop paying for it, you're going to see the market correct. It's just like the housing market. It's just like the used collector car market. It's just like anything, guys. When people stop going, oh, you know what? That's really not worth the squeeze. And they stop buying it. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. You vote with your wallet. I don't know how hard it is. Vote with your wallet. It's the most powerful tool you got. Is voting with your wallet. I'll tell you what. If a whole country said, screw McDonald's, we're not going to eat McDonald's because you're serving me soy and ostrich meat on fake canola oil pressed buns. They're not even made with wheat. And it's just a fake burger. And they just go, you know what? We all are going to stop eating there. You'll watch McDonald's suddenly change their tune. And everything will be fresh and they'll be like In-N-Out Burger. But the problem is we never will. We never will. It's the same thing with the IGSBA World Finals. Look at the racers who bitch and moan. They don't like the leadership of the IGSBA World Finals. They've watched the World Finals decline. And what do? I bought my registration. I'm going to, here we go. We're going to Crazy Horse. We're going to Havasu in October. Nothing will change. Nothing will change. It'll still be the same. Because they are unwilling to sacrifice. They're unwilling to go, I'm going to sit this one out. It's the same thing. Look at all the people who are like, I'm going to buy a new jet ski this year. And they bitch about the prices. Then don't buy a jet ski this year. Don't. I don't get it. You vote with your wallet. But the problem is that no one is willing to go without. No one is willing to say, I would want that, but I'm not going to support it. I grew up going to Disneyland. All right. I was 25 minutes from Disneyland when I was a kid. I grew up in Seal Beach, California. We could sit on the roof of my house. It was a cheap date. We'd sit on the roof of my house and we watched the fireworks. It was great. Cheap date. Oh, it was awesome. I grew up going to Disneyland probably 4 or 5 times a year. I knew past tense that park like the back of my hand. And I'm taking my family out to California I'm planning on taking my family out to California this year. And you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to go to Disney. And I got 3 little girls, and I'm not taking them to Disney. You want to know why? Because I do not support what Disney has become. So I'm voting with my wallet. I'd rather take them to Knott's Berry Farm than Disneyland. So I'm choosing not to go. And that's it. You're a grown man. You're an adult. No one's wiping your butt. You're a grown man. You make your decisions. And you make your decisions based upon principle. You have principles. You don't like where things are going. Don't buy it. Don't do it. Find an alternative. That's all I got to say. All right. I know we got a bunch of questions, but I'm over 2 hours. My voice is trashed. And I got a long week of writing scripts and doing video of this week. So if you like what we do, guys, if you enjoy this insane, crazy freaking channel and all the content we make, why don't you buy a jersey? Link is at the top. You can also go to watercraftjournal.com/store. You'll find them there. We cut $5 off of them. Buy yours. It is called Sunset Red Jersey. It is a sunset red jersey. Buy a jersey, or you can support us by buying a t-shirt, or if you need to add 12.5 gallons of fuel capacity to your ski, we also sell the auxiliary fuel system kit that is designed for you. But they did ruin Star Wars, and they'll never be forgiven for that. The sins that they made against Luke Skywalker will never be forgiven. Jesus forgives. I don't. Especially when it comes to Star Wars. I'm joking. I'm being silly. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Please make sure to like the video before you check out. I'm done. Thanks again. We'll talk soon.